Okay. Yeah. Hi everybody. Once again. Yeah. See, yesterday we saw that SAP is on three-tier architecture. So just 2 minutes. I'm recapping. I'm trying to make you recap this thing, and I'll move to the next slide. See, we know that presentation layer, application layer, and the database layer we have. Presentation layer is from where you are sending the request. Okay. That means, for example, if you are using Gmail, okay. So we are using internet browser, maybe your laptop or office desktop or browsing center system, whatever it may be. You are sending the request from here. That is presentation layer. Your browser, that is your laptop browser is a presentation layer. From where you are sending the request. As soon as you hit enter gmail.com, okay, so the mails, whatever you have, or the next screen which will prompt for your user ID password will be fetched from the database, because this is main important. Google database is here. Assume that this is Google database. But to fetch that, we are taking the help of application layer. That means your request is going to application layer processing your request, and that request is going to database and fetching from the database and giving it to you the response. And in the next screen you are getting user ID and password prompt a pop-up screen. So there again we will give user ID and password here. As soon as you enter again, the request will go and check the validation here, that is your authentication and everything. If you are allowed to do that, for example, if you are given the wrong password, it will say here itself, sorry boss, your password is wrong, or user ID or password is wrong. If it is right, your credentials are right, then it will allow you to fetch your mail data from this Google server. So normally any scenario will work like this only. Not only Gmail, like your online banking, your bank, your account details are in the database. To fetch this data, it will check your authentication here. That means application layer just processing the business. It won't contain any data. Data is always in the database, and this is from the presentation layer. Okay, so just it's processing your request. Okay, so here what's happening is, in this application layer only we are installing SAP. Means to process your business we are using the SAP as an application software. That's why we call it as SAP, means systems, applications and products in data processing. The SAP abbreviation is systems, applications and products in data processing. So that is the meaning here. So when you send the request will be processed through application layer. So to fetch the data from the data. So not only fetching, it organize the data here also. If you are inserting something, okay, you are depositing the amount or you are transferring the amount from here. So it goes and modifies your account, saying that maybe you had $1,000 in your account. $200 transferring means it will modify to $800, and the $200 will be transferred to your the target account wherever you are transferring. Okay, so just it supporting your business. So in this course we are going to learn about these two layers. See why we need the database. The next question is, see, anyway you are saying that application layer SAP containing this is enough, right? You can ask me, yes, this is enough. But if you don't know about the database, you can't do administration in the application layer. As a basis admin, we need to know about these two layers. These two we are going to learn in this course, because the problems from the database, mostly because of the database only we face the issues. Of course, SAP side also will be problems will be there, but we need to know about these both. Then only you are the full-fledged basis consultant. Okay, so that is application layer and database. These are the three layers. We can call it as three-tier architecture: presentation layer, application layer and database layer. Okay, in the ERP mechanism, each and every ERP product is using this three-tier architecture. Okay, all right. Yes, anybody has questions here before moving to next slide? No questions? Okay. So if anybody not talking means I can take it as no questions. So I'm moving to next slide. See these three layers, how we can use, we will see now. See these three layers we can configure in three ways, that is one tier, two tier, three tier. What is one tier, two tier, three tier, we will see now. One tier means, see all these three layers, that is presentation layer, application layer and database layer, all these three layers we are installing in a single server, that is single system, like in your laptop. See, to practice SAP, so these three layers we can't install three laptops, right? Because three laptops buying is very very heavy cost, and also no need of that. So we can install all these three in our single laptop and we will practice SAP, right? So that kind of configuration is one tier configuration. That means presentation layer, application layer and database. Three layers we are installing in a single server. We use, that is called one tier configuration. Means in single server we are configuring all the three layers. Okay. Means we are installing three layers, that is one tier configuration. But remember, this one tier configuration is not recommended for the business. For best effective results, for the best performance, one tier is not recommended. Why? Because, see, for example, assume that these three are in single server. Your server has maybe one CPU or two CPUs, some RAM, maybe assume that 10 GB RAM, and some hard disk, and everything, processor and everything XYZ in the hardware, whatever we require. So that single hardware, that is processor, CPU, RAM, everything will be shared by these three layers. What I am trying to say is there is no dedicated soft hardware resource to the each and every layer. See, the 10 GB RAM only shared by these three layers. So there is no dedicated RAM for database, there is no dedicated RAM for application layer, there is no dedicated RAM for GUI. So because of any reason, because of any problem, if at all database is consuming lot of memory, lot of RAM, out of 10 GB, 7, 8, 9 GB is consuming by database itself, means without having any problem from SAP and the presentation layer side, they will suffer. So that the performance will goes down. So the communication happens very slowly. That is, for example, take your ATM. See here, you are inserting the card in the ATM and you are hitting your inputs like your PIN, language, amount, withdraw, like that. Means from one screen to another screen you are moving, means the response time between these two screens will show the performance of the system. So if that is delaying more from one screen, if you enter your PIN, the next screen is coming very slow. That means performance is slow. It might be any reason, maybe memory issue, that is RAM issue, maybe system load is more, or maybe any other problem. That is a different story. But in this case, what I am trying to say is, so because of there is no dedicated resource for each and every layer, so other layers will suffer. That is the one reason. And the second is because of some problem in that particular software or hardware. For example, SAP database is having some problem. Suddenly database is going down. That means your system is going down. So obviously your SAP will goes down and your presentation layer is also goes down. So because of one problem, other two layers are suffering from this. So that is the reason in the real time for business scenarios, we never use this one tier configuration. Okay. So that's why, so it is not recommended for the business. But even though we can use the one tier configuration for training and sandbox system. See, what is the training? You know, training box means, so to give the training to my employees or business partners. So it is not a regular usable system, right? Only few days we will use. So we will keep that box aside. So since that kind of, in that kind of an environment, so we use this one tier configuration, because unnecessarily installing SAP in three servers, buying three servers, presentation layer is one, SAP is another, database is another. Instead of wasting that resources, anyway temporarily we are using. So that is the reason we can install these three on the single box and we will give the training and we will continue. So in that case we can use sandbox. Means sandbox is a one kind of training box, but the sandbox so is dedicatedly for SAP employees only. That is like basis, functional, ABAPers. So it is not dedicated for business. It is for practice. Okay. It is for practice. That means, for example, new version is released. SAP new version is released. Okay. So some new features are added. You want to check it out that new features in the SAP. Okay. So how to check? I can't do on business systems. I can't do R&D on business systems. Otherwise, if something goes wrong, business will be disturbed, right? So that is the reason. So sandbox we will use. So every company has sandbox. So that is for employees only, for testing purpose. Okay. So that's why, like training and sandbox environments, we will use this kind of one-tier configuration. Okay. So for business purpose, we never use this one tier. Okay. That is about one tier. And next is two-tier configuration. Two-tier means the presentation layer is separated from this. That means presentation layer is installing on one server, but still database and SAP is on another server. That means two servers we are using to complete this setup. Two servers we are using. Okay. So that means presentation layer is in dedicated server, SAP and database is on separate server. But still database and SAP are inconsistent. Like whatever the problems we discussed in one time, same here. Again, there is no dedicated resources for database and SAP. Okay, there is no what you can say dedicated hardware, and same problem. If because of any problem of one component, other will suffer in terms of memory or in terms of crash. Okay, like that. Even though we never prefer two-tier as well for business, but if your servers are good configured, good manageable, high-ended configured systems, we can prefer two-tier for the business purpose in some cases. Okay, but the recommended and the efficient way of using these three layers is three-tier configuration. Okay, so here if you see the three-tier figure, three layers are separated from three boxes. That is GUI presentation layer we'll use in the separate box, application layer is in separate box, database is in separate box. Means each and every layer separated and is installed on its own box. This is the best recommended configuration by SAP, and for better performance also this is the recommended. Why? Because see here, my SAP has 10 GB RAM here dedicatedly. Here 10 GB RAM. Maybe more if you want. Here it has its own RAM. But here the same 10 GB or 15 GB whatever it is shared by each and every layer. But there is no dedicated particular RAM to particular layer here in the one tier or two tier. But whereas three tier, it has its own CPU, it has its own RAM, it has its own processor. Same thing like in database, same thing like presentation layer. That's why this three-tier configuration is recommended for the best result in the regular business scenarios. See, for example, take any Gmail or like eBay or like your banking account. Probably you are using this only. Why? Because see, presentation layer is a small software. It doesn't require a separate server. It can be installed in your client location also. That means, see, Internet Explorer is a presentation layer to say. In SAP, we will use SAP GUI as a presentation layer. See, in your laptop, we are using this as presentation. That means, see, you are opening the Explorer, you are giving some URL, your bank URL or maybe eBay URL or any kind of Gmail URL. Okay, just a second. Okay, so this URL, as soon as you enter from Explorer, it goes to the SAP server and through that goes to the database and fetches your information, and through this application layer it is giving it to you in your Explorer. Means what I am trying to say is your Explorer, Internet Explorer or Mozilla, that also a presentation layer, nothing but. Okay, so you will get clarity on that later, but as of now treat it as this is presentation layer. From where you are requesting is the presentation. So this is how we use these three layers in the real-time scenario. But recommended is 3 times. Why I am showing the screen here is, as soon as you join as a basis consultant, okay, you need to understand how your systems are configured in your business. Okay, why? Because so if the problem comes, if we did not know this, how it is either 2-tier or 3-tier, we never prefer 1-tier for business, either it might be a 2-tier or 3-tier, mostly 3-tier. If the problem comes, for example, memory consuming more, you got one mail or alert saying that so memory is 90% is used. So if it is this type of configuration, for example, you are facing the issue in this server, then you can log in into this server and you can check. That's fine. But if this kind of configuration, you need to log in into database, you need to check, and you need to log in into SAP level, you need to check. Means both are using the same server, right? So that is the reason it is first thing you need to understand how it is configured. If you know this, then only troubleshooting will be very easy, right? See here, if it is this type of 2-tier configuration, you need to check both layers, how much SAP is consuming, how much database is consuming, you need to check it out. But whereas in this configuration, if it is the problem here, you need to log in into here, means here is SAP. So the problem with SAP only, SAP is consuming lot of memory. What it's causing, how many users logged in, like that we will check. Or if the database is consuming, same we will check from the database side. So troubleshooting is very easy, right? So that is the reason first you need to understand what type of systems you have, either 2-tier configured or 3-tier configured. Okay, so that's why I am sharing this. Any questions here? 1-tier, 2-tier, 3-tier. It's clear, or any confusion or any questions, please let me know.
So have you seen any tutor in the business landscape?
Sorry? Yeah, 2-tier we will see. Usually we will see, but it should be a high-ended configurator, good RAM and more CPUs. Okay? Especially in Unix environment, 2-tier also we can prefer because there is a separate logical host name concept is there. So because of that we can use this also. So 2-tier also we can use. But for better performance, 3-tier is a recommend. So I will explain you about 2-tier how we will use
And
also.
for development and QA?
Yeah, development and QA we
For
prefer.
development and
Yeah, development and QA also we can prefer 3-tier. It is all based on your client interest. If your client want to take risk, he will prefer only 2-tier. If your client don't want to take risk, why should we have to take risk? Our business will be disturbed if something goes wrong. Anyway, only hardware is the cost. We can bear that cost. If your client is thinking like that, yes, this will buy three layers, 3 servers separately, and for development, quality, and production, so he can install same. Okay, so it's all based on your client requirement. Decision is not ours. We will educate this to your client. Okay, so finally, decision is up to you. Because he is the investor, right? He only has to bought hardware and maintain all this. Okay, so up to that. But from the functionality point of view, the differences are like this. 2-tier. Okay. Any other question? Okay, right. I'm moving to next slide. Yes, this is the way. So whatever we seen, the presentation layer from where we send the request, this is application layer SAP and the database. Now we will see the elements of SAP system. That means what components in the application layer. Okay. See here, this is my database. See, database is the place where you store the data. I am not going more here. So when the database part comes, we will discuss this. So this is my application layer. Okay. So when the request came from GUI, it reaches to here. From there, it goes to database and fetches the information and gives it to you. Okay, that's it. But here in the application layer, there are, see, today and tomorrow some terminologies I'm going to introduce in the one sequence. Okay, so probably see this terminology functionalities we may know, but we are using in a different way. Okay, so that's what I'm going to introduce here. See, in this application layer, this is called application layer, that is presentation layer, application layer and database, 3 layers, right? Application layer is nothing but SAP layer. Okay, in this application layer we have some components which will help you to process the request. See, you are entering Gmail and going to database and fetching the information mean in the SAP layer there are some things which will help you to take it forward that request to database and fetch the information. Okay, right. Now see, there is instance is there. See, what is instance? After 2 minutes I'll explain you. Each and every instance contains one dispatcher. Okay, each and every instance contains only one dispatcher, and dispatcher is associated with some processes. These processes are called work process. Okay, dispatcher, and it is associated with some processes. These processes are called work processes in SAP. See, what the dispatcher will do, the name itself is showing dispatching. Mean as soon as the request come to SAP layer, okay, so the dispatcher will dispatch the request to concerned process which will execute your request. That means this work process only executing your request, identifying your requirement and going to the database and fetching the information and giving to dispatcher and dispatcher to your that is browser or maybe GUI. Okay, so in the presentation layer you are seeing the result. See, in the eBay you are searching some product. Means as soon as you enter request, the request goes to dispatcher. Dispatcher in turn assigned to work process. This work process goes to the database and fetches the information, gives it to dispatcher. Dispatcher in turn returns you. That's why you are seeing available. For example, you are querying for t-shirts with your size and cost, whatever the price you are bearing. So that results you available products, how you can see is like this one. So that's why, so each and every instance contain only one dispatcher and multiple work process associated with them. We have different types of work process, we will see in the next class. Okay, these processes we call work process. See, to execute anything process, one process is required. See, if you observe in the Windows Task Manager also. Okay, see here I am opening Task Manager. See, lot of processes are running. See, if I want to open, this process should be running. Then only I can use Chrome. If I go Z, see, go to meeting I am using, this process will helping you to conduct this session. If I kill this process, that functionality will not be continued. So that means one process is helping you to use that functionality, to execute that request. Same way that process is in SAP here is this work process. Okay. So each and every dispatcher is associated with multiple work process. What are those work process? How many work process? We will see it later. Right. Now, can you tell me how many instances you can see? How many dispatches you can see here? How many dispatches you are seeing?
Four.
Yes. That means, yes. As per this figure, we have 4 dispatches. Each dispatcher is associated with, yes, excuse me, can somebody mute please? Yeah, thank you. See, each dispatcher is associated with some work process, containing some work process. Okay, so these work process will help you to process your request. That means in the application layer, there is a possibility to have the multiple instances. So what is the instance is? Instance is an administrative unit. See, it is a one unit, administrative unit, which is having one or more services or processes, which will help you to execute your request. Nothing but one dispatcher and summing up few work process is called one instance. So to handle the excess load of one instance, for example, one instance cannot handle all the load. For example, you have so many multiple requests are coming. Assume that this dispatcher and this work process commonly, this instance can handle 100 requests. But this 100, it may not handle. Of course, it may handle 100, but 200 coming. So again, system will become slow. So that means here we need one more instance to handle excess load. Like that, we can go for multiple instances in an application layer. So SAP giving us to install maximum of 98 instances. Maximum of 98 instances you can install in an application layer. Each and every instance is identified by, okay, each and every instance is identified by its NR. NR means number. Okay. So each and every instance is identified with its number ranging from 00 to 97. Total 98. Maximum of 98 instances you can install. But since from last 6 years of my experience, I never seen 98 instances. The business which is using 98 instances in single system. Of course, SAP is giving this option, but maximum I see in 25-30 only. Okay, maximum I see for production boxes. Okay, but we can go up to no, not in single host, multiple. I will tell you in the next slides. Yeah. Okay.
98 instances in a multiple different hosts.
Yeah, multiple different instances, multiple different hosts distributed again. Okay, I will tell you that later. So 98 we can install maximum.
Ashok, so one dispatcher. So one instance corresponds to only one dispatcher?
Yes, one instance contains only one dispatcher. Here 98 means 98 dispatchers will be there. Again in turn, each dispatcher have again some work process. Okay.
Okay. So there cannot be multiple dispatchers for one instance.
No. Only one dispatcher per one instance. That's it. But multiple work process available per instance. Okay. And we should not use any other number beyond this. Why? Because if you are installing your instance, maybe 00 is the first instance, 01 is second, 02 like that. So 10, 20 you can use, your choice. But there is no rule that you should use in the sequence only. For example, in my company I have 5 instances. So I may use this sequence 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Yes. See, within these numbers we can use any number. Okay, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Yes, I have 5 instances. First instance is 20, 10, next 20, 30, 40, 50. See, instance didn't have any name. It has recognized by its number only. Okay, so that is instance number 10, that is called as NR, ranging from 00 to 97. And 98 and 99 numbers we should not use. It is reserved for SAP purpose. Okay, we should not use these two numbers. Up to 97 only we can use. Among these numbers, any number you can use for any system. Okay, so maximum maximum of 98 instances we can install in an application layer to handle the excess load of the system from the business side. Okay, so any questions here?
So on, let's say, for a production system, there can be 97 instances just for production
98
system, right?
instances, 98 including
98
zero.
instances.
Yes, maximum.
So Okay, so one system, one SID can have 97, 90,
Yeah.
maximum 97 instances. Right?
Yeah,
98.
98. Yeah, 98. Ranging from 00 to 97. Yes. One SID can have. So, yes, guys, who are new to SAP, not a problem. Don't confuse SID. I will tell you that later. Okay. As of now, take it as your application layer will have 98 maximum of, but each and every instance have only one dispatcher and few work process. Like that, based on the requirement, we can install the multiple instances. Who will install
Okay.
instances? SAP Basis Consultant only will install. Okay. Yes, please.
It's not feasible to install the second instance on the same host, right? Because since it's overloaded. If the first one is overloaded, for that reason only, you cannot install the second instance on the same host. Is it
No.
right or no?
No. It all depends on your hardware resource. If your server is good configured, good RAM, good hard disk, good CPUs, good processor, then you can install 2-3 instances in single box also. So anyway, I will come to that in the later, maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Okay, so nothing to worry. As of now, take it as application layer can contain maximum of 98 instances. Each instance contains one dispatcher and multiple work process. That's it. As of now, I don't want to confuse you now. Okay. Yes. Any questions from this point? Okay. Right. If no questions, I'm moving to next slide. Yes. Can you go through the slide points, please? See, ignore few points which I did not touch. That is central instance I did not touch. Here some buffers and profiles I did not touch, but as it is, go through up to here. Note, up to note. So I'll give 1 minute time. So clearly go through the points. And if you want, you can take the print screen of this screen. Your instance definition, you need to by heart that. Basis is nothing but by hearting only. No logic, no programming, no coding, no head breaking. Okay. That's what. Yes. See, as you're seeing, the definition is an administrative unit which combines the SAP system components providing one or more services or resources. Okay, if you want to start the SAP system means nothing but you are starting the instances only. If the instance is started, your SAP system is started, nothing but. Okay, if you have 10 instances, all 10 instances you need to restart. If you are stopping and starting means you are stopping combinedly the instances. That means dispatcher is stopping, work process are stopping. If you are starting, so you need to start dispatcher and work process. So I can't say that dispatcher is started, work process is stopped, so my SAP is up. I can't say. So both should come up. Okay, on each and every instance. So combinedly we will start. Anyway, we will discuss clearly in the start and stop class, including the Unix commands and all. Okay. So each and every instance has its own resources. That means each and every instance has its own memory, its own CPUs, its own processors, like that. So based on the hardware you chosen, your client given to you. So we will discuss that also in the next class. Okay. And this SAP instance, we can call it as instance, SAP instance, application server, or web application server, or web as server. Web as server means web application server. All are synonyms for instance. Whatever the word we are using, SAP instance, SAP instance, instance, or application server, or app server also we can call. Application server is app server or web app server or web application server. All are synonyms for the instance. Whatever the word anybody is using is nothing but instance of. How many web application servers you have, or how many application servers you have means how many instances you have, nothing but. Okay, don't confuse. These are the synonyms for the instance. And the remaining points, as of now I am skipping, we will see in the next slide these points. Okay, right. See, as per this figure, how many instances I have? See, leave about the names like central instance, so many things you have seen. So leave about the names as of.
3.
Yes, 3. How you are saying we have 3?
Diagram.
Through diagram. Okay. Good answer. But if all 3 I combined into 1, so then it will become 1. If in big rectangle I drawn all these 3 in a single time, it will become 1 instance. No, right? Yes.
No, maybe with the number of dispatches.
Yes, exactly. How many dispatches you are seeing? That will be the count of instance. So you are seeing 3. See, however these 3 are installed in 3 separate boxes, or 3 instances installed in single box also, not a problem. But 3 instances we have because we are seeing the 3 dispatches. Okay. So how we use these instances, maybe in a single system or in separate systems. Okay. So we will discuss that later. But as of now, as you are seeing this figure, we have 3 instances because 3 dispatches we are seeing. We can use these 3 in a single box also we can install, or 3 different boxes we can install. Application layer. In the application layer, the SAP can be maintained in 3 boxes also, if it is like that. One instance in one box, another instance in another box, so third instance in third box. So in the next topic we will see, nothing to worry. Okay. Right. Yes. Can you go through this please? Once again. Yes, from these points, probably 3 things you may not understand. That is single or central system, distributed system, and SID. See, single or central system means all the 3 layers. That is, see, leave about the presentation layer. Presentation layer is of course it is a layer, but it is a small layer. So we no need to give much importance to that because you can install that in your laptop also. Probably your servers are in Chicago. You are connecting from your New York office. So in your laptop you will install presentation layer. But main concentration is our SAP and database only. If these layers, these 3 layers, or maybe SAP and database in a single system is installed, that is called single system or central system. Means 3 layers, presentation, application and database layers, are in the single system, means single server. As I told, for practicing SAP we are installing everything in our laptop. That kind of setup is called single system or central system configuration. Okay, nothing but 1 tier configuration, or even 2 tier also we can treat it as single system or central system. But third tier configuration, three-tier configuration, what we have seen, presentation layer in separate, database is on separate, SAP is on separate. That kind of distribution is called, that kind of configuration is called three-tier configuration, nothing but distributed system. In the real-time scenario, so for better performance, we use distributed configuration. If anybody asking you how your instances or systems are configured, so distributed, three-tier configuration. Okay, so means SAP is on separate server, database is on separate server. Again in SAP, again we have multiple instances again, remember. In SAP, again multiple instances. Leave about how these instances are again intern configured. So either all instances in single server or all instances in multiple server, leave about. But database is separating from SAP. That is the reason we are calling it as distributed. So for better performance, we use the distributed configuration. Okay. So now the next point is SID. What is the SID is? See, like your name and my name, to call us we have one name, right? Everybody has their own name. Same way, to call your SAP we should have to put one name. That name is called SID, system ID. Nothing but application layer, entire application layer we have one name, that is called SID. See, this SAP system has one SID name, that is SAP application layer means SAP system. So that is one SID. Under that SID we have some instances. Same way, database also have one SID. That means to call database I need to put one name here. And to call SAP system, because I have multiple systems, multiple SAP systems in my project. So to call that particular system I should have to put one name, that is SID. Okay. So yes, system ID. Okay. That SID. Okay, using that only we can call that system. So what is SID, we'll see in the tomorrow clearly. It is a 3-letter word. Okay, so there are some conditions to give the SID 3 letters. So there are some principles we need to follow when you are giving the 3-letter name to your system. We will see in the tomorrow. Okay, to call that system or database we should have to give one SID. That is SID. Under that SID we have multiple instances. Under that entire application layer name is SID. Under that SID we have some multiple instances 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, and so on 97. Okay. And database, it has its own SID. It has its own name. It is also 3 letters. We will see in the tomorrow class. Okay. Right. Yes. Any questions here? Understand central or distributed system? Central means nothing but one-tier configuration. Distributed is 3-tier configuration. Simply to understand, means separated, distributed. Okay. Right. Yes. See, with this I'll close for today. See how we can use this distributed or central through this picture I'll explain you. See, we are seeing 3 pictures here. See, the first picture you see outline of only one rectangle. In that my application layer and database is installed. Means in the single box, consider outline, outer line. Okay. In the single box we install SAP and database. That's why we are calling it as single or central system. Because SAP and database is on the same host, same server, single server. No separate server for database, no separate server for application. Got it? And next, this is single system. And if you observe the second picture, my database is separated. See, separate rectangle. Means this is one server. Database is installed on separate box and SAP is installed in separate box. See, observe, I have 2 instances here. I have 2 instances here. Whatever it may be the instances, but SAP is on separate. Database is separated from SAP. Means database is installed on one server. SAP is installed in separate server. That is why we are calling it as distributed. Okay. Clear guys? Any question here? Any confusion? These two pictures before going to third one.
Each box is each machine, right? Each light green box.
Yeah. Each light blue, this is mission. Here, two boxes are there separated. Here, right? Separation. So here in single mission, we have SAP and database. This is single or central system configuration. And distributed, your database is separated and your application layer is separated. That is your SAP is separated. Two boxes we are here. Okay. So that's why we are calling it as distributed. And multi-distributed environment, that is third picture. See this we are calling distributed. Why? Because database is separated. That's why it is distributed. Not a problem. But if you observe the first picture in the third one, the big rectangle. Okay. So here application layer, nothing but your SAP system containing 6 instances. But how these 6 instances are configured is, these 6 instances are installed in 3 separate servers. Again, see this thick blue is separate server, you can read it. So in this one server, 2 instances installed, another server 2 instances, another server 2. Total 6 instances is installed in 3 different servers under one SID in the application layer. Okay, that means there is no rule that you should use like this only. If you want your server is good, all 6 instances you can install in the single instance only, single server only. Here my server is little good capable, that is the reason I installed 2 instances in single server. But if you want better performance, you can install 6 instances and 6 boxes also here. Okay, it's all based on your hardware component. Your RAM, CPUs, processors are good. All the 6 instances you can install in single box like this. See here, 2 instances installed in single box. Like that here 6 instances you can install. It's all based on your hardware only. However, your client prefers, you want separate servers for each and every instance, or all instances in separate in single server, or like this multiple instances in some server, another 2 or 3 instances in some server, another 2 instances in some server. Yes, however they want, we can install like this. Even though, however it may be in this part, since database is separated, that's why we are calling this is distributed. But this is multiple instances distributed. Why? Because we have 6 instances separated in 3 servers and database is on separate server. Total 4 servers I have now. See, SAP 3 servers with 2 instances in single server. Okay, and database is on separate server. Total 4 servers I have in this my SAP system, including the database. Okay, this also you can use, but there is no rule that you should use like this only. Okay, it is all based on your hardware capability. Your hardware is good configured, good high-ended RAM, high-ended server, everything. Then you can install all 6 also in single box. That is up to your client requirement. However it may be, however you can use 6 in a single box, 6 in 6 different servers, or 6 in 2 different servers, or 3 different servers like this figure, or maybe in single also. Okay, however you can use, but remember always it is a better and safer. Database should be separated for better results, for better performance, and to avoid some risk also. Database should be on separate server. Okay, this is very important. I want to tell
Sir,
you.
can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yeah, Ashok sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. On the third one on the right hand side, the distributed instance with the multiple dialog instances, what's the logic behind assigning instances? How many numbers can we assign here? Can we assign any of the same number within the same application instance?
Yeah, we can install, but see here in the same server we can't use the same number. 00 to 97 we can use any number. Okay, which is not repeated in the same
So
SID,
within the same blue shaded area. So these 1 and 2 dialog servers can have 01 and 02, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
On the right side, there's another dialog instance
Yeah,
that
just,
can
yeah,
have 01, 02 as
yeah,
well.
yeah. So don't consider this, ignore these numbers as of, okay? Don't confuse. Assume that this is 00,
No, no,
01.
just for the
Yeah,
understanding.
yeah. Yeah, 00, this is 01, 02, 03, 04, 05. That's it. Okay,
Okay,
as
if
of
these
now.
are 01, 02, 03, so you cannot have 01, 02 and 01, 02 again on a separate machine, is what I'm
Yeah,
asking you.
separate machine we can
Separate
have
box.
same number we can have in
So
separate machine.
these blue shaded areas are separate machines, right? The
Yeah.
dialog 1, dialog 2 is on a separate machine, dialog 1, dialog 2. So they can
Yeah.
actually conflict the number, no problem.
No, not a problem. If it is in different server, but that's what I don't want to confuse now itself. So take it as we are not using repeated numbers under same SID till now. Later on I will clarify this. Okay. As of now think that we are not using repeated numbers under one same system. For example, this is my one SID here, D11. Assume that my system name is D11. Under D11 I have 6 instances. 6 instances with 6 different instance numbers. Okay, as of now take it in. Take as it is.
It's
That's it.
for now, okay.
Yeah, it's for now. Okay.
So what is the real ideal setup? Is that the third box, like distributed instance?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you have multiple instances, you can use like this. See, it's not ideal. See here, this is like this. But I don't want to take this risk also. I want each and every instance in single separate server. At that time, here you see 6 boxes again in turn. Here we are seeing 3 boxes, right? 3 servers. So, but ideal configuration is database should be separated. However your SAP is using. It's all based on your requirement. There is no rule that everybody should have 6 instances, right? I have in my project currently one box having even the production only central instance, only one instance. Only one instance. I don't have multiple instances. But database is separated. Separately installed on one server. SAP is installed in separate server like this. This is ideal configuration. Database should be separated. But SAP how you are using all based on the hardware sizes, hardware capability. But for better performance, the 6 instances should be in 6 separate servers. It is a better best practice. However, you can go 6 in same instance, single server also if your server is good. For as a best practice, it is better to maintain 6 instances in 6 separate boxes because that box has its own RAM, CPU, whatever we discussed earlier. Okay, it has its own dedicated resources.
What is the difference between
Yes, please.
what is the difference between central service instance dialog and
Yeah. I'll go to next. That is in the tomorrow class, tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Because we need to discuss here regarding the work process and all. After that, I will introduce that terminology. There is a reason. Whatever I am saying, just follow that. Okay, I'll go in one order. Not a problem. I will clarify everything. Okay. So this is how we will use. So single system, distributed, and distributed with multiple instances we will use. And also this is not take it as granted. Okay, one example how 6 instances 3 servers install. But if you want 6 instances 6 servers also here, that is up to you, up to your client requirement, how he wants to install, how he wants to run his business. Okay, but the best recommended is database should be separated from the SAP. However, it is 6 instances or 20 instances or 90 instances, that is a different story. But database should be on separate server. It is the best practice. It should be distributed like this. Okay, here how many instances we never consider as of now. Database should be on separate. That is for better performance. Okay, right. Any questions here? No question? Yes. Yeah, if no questions, that's it from my side for today. Okay, so any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll wind up the class. So see you tomorrow. Okay.
Okay.
and say use the same link. Okay. Yes, I hope everybody clear with this. Any questions, let me know before close. Otherwise, you can ask tomorrow also, not a problem. Okay?
Ashok,
Yes, please.
I have like two friends who joined.
Okay.
One is Vishal and then another one is Srikanth.
Yeah, hi Vishal and Srikanth. Yeah, I'm seeing the names. Yeah.
Yeah, Srikanth just joined.
Mm-hmm.
Srikanth and Vishal left, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, not a problem. Ask them to join tomorrow also. Same link. Okay.
Yeah.
If they want to talk with me, you can give my number, or I can send sometime tomorrow after the class. Okay.
Okay.
So anybody yes please. Yeah. Yeah.
Even the databases are in different server, like the link, how the linkage will happen between the
Yeah, it is.
setup?
Yeah, they will add in the domain in the Windows level network. They will add in the network, the domain and all. Okay. So that is the network admins take care of that.
Okay.
Right. Okay, guys. Then see you tomorrow. Bye. Yes, Saurabh, don't end the meeting because I made you as organizer.